Alright, welcome to the latest Concerts and Consoles. This week, we've got Brandon... That's right. Fuck. I'm already messing up.
Oh no.
Brandon Kalen.
Kalen.
There we go. Kalen. Landon.
Kalen Lander.
I had that. I typed it.
Hey, I believe you.
From Stalemate. Let's say that.
Hello.
Something came up, Ariel isn't able to make it, but still happy to have him here.
Yes, glad to be here.
Even if I can mispronounce his name.
It's okay.
Kalen.
It's been done worse, so.
I'm now trying to figure out how I put together that name.
They sound similar, it's kind of a slant rhyme.
But yeah, we're here. We had some technical issues. That's where my mind went.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
We were originally going to play some Scott Pilgrim, but we're going to go take turns here playing Jet Set Radio Future, one of my favorites on the Xbox. Of course, if you want to support, head over to patreon.com/everyshowjoe. And I think that's all the housekeeping for now. But yeah,
we've been battling technology all day trying to get this to work, and so now we're retro on the Xbox.
Yes,
yeah.
We're playing on an actual original Xbox, though we don't have the Duke.
Right.
The Duke controller.
This one's a little more ergonomic, I think.
Yeah. Oh no, it's a lot more comfortable.
I never had an Xbox, but I played my friends, and I always came home and had to ice my hands.
Really?
No.
What? It's usually just the thumbs you ice.
Right, yeah. That hardcore pro gamer.
And then, yeah, usually I start off asking Origins, but I don't know how many people watching this actually listen to Nerdcore, because I group you guys into Nerdcore.
Okay.
I know you describe yourselves as synthwave punk hip-hop.
Synth punk hip-hop.
Which, Nerdcore's a whole another thing anyways. It's an eclectic bunch as it is, like...
And there's definitely nerdcore aspects to what we do, but none of our songs are overtly about nerdy topics. There are references in them, but I don't write songs about video games.
Well, Nerdcore, it's kind of that. But that what makes it eclectic, like, who was it? Schaefer the Dark Lord. Mm-hmm. Learning and listening to him on a podcast, that Taylor says. He never wanted to be called Nerdcore, and it was a group of people that came to him. He's like, I don't fucking do this.
Yeah.
It's just hip-hop.
Right, and Schaefer writes about a lot of different things, a lot of sex and a lot of other topics.
Like a dark villain.
Yeah, he's great. We played with him a few times at South by Southwest on Ugly Fest. And,
that's why was it called Ugly Fest?
Because the guy putting it on, or the band putting it on, were the Buglies. They were originally the Bumpin' Uglies, and then they switched it to the Buglies to avoid confusion with another band called the Bumpin' Uglies. But it's an offshoot of South by Southwest every year in Austin, and Schaefer the Dark Lord plays it. Moody Black, Jack Talcum.
Scoot over a little bit here. You're in frame here.
Mega Ran is on it.
And he's another one that, reading interviews, he's just like, I'm a hip-hop artist. Why? Mm-hmm. And he just kind of talks about wrestling and talks about some video game stuff too, but he tries to just life in hip-hop, and he got grouped into Nerdcore too.
Yeah, you can't escape it. We're all nerds, so at least we got that going for us.
It's, who was it? MC Lars calls himself Lit Hop, because all it is about books, or at least originally.
Oh, literature.
Yes.
Even though it is lit.
It is lit.
Yeah.
And he's got punk origins. Freaking Schaefer has like metal, hardcore origins.
Yeah.
Like that's what he explained on how he learned the whole DIY aesthetic.
Yeah.
But it's a genre that kind of forces some people into it.
Right, and
or at least into its classification.
And if you tell Ariel that we're nerdcore, they get really mad because Ariel doesn't like nerd culture. Ariel doesn't like video games. My drummer, Ariel of Snailmate. Yeah, so the whole nerd thing, they take exception to.
It's not as someone who grew up where I still kind of hit it. It's not a negative. It's not a...
No, but it wasn't, I think our age coming up, it wasn't celebrated the same as it is now.
Not where I now have a Marvel movie every 3 months, and it's like, everyone's now a nerd. No, you're not.
Yeah, exactly. Posers.
Now let's talk about that. Comic books, God. I got accused of possibly spoiling a it now might be a story in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because I'm like, oh, this might be leading to a comic book, and I made a post about it, and they're like, you're spoiling this for anyone who doesn't read the comics. I'm like, I don't even know if it's actually the story they're using.
Right? Yeah, you're just hoping that it might go down a certain path.
Yes, the scroll invasion, the secret invasion.
Mm-hmm.
That was my speculating, which now kind of looks like I might have maybe spoiled something.
I just am curious how they're going to work around the whole reveal at the end of Spider-Man, and now that they can't have Spider-Man in the MCU anymore. Because that was all pretty...
At least the good Mysterio is in the MCU.
Yeah. Yeah, that was definitely a
I don't know how long it is for spoiler warnings. I was like, there's more I want to talk about.
I'm not talking explicitly about the ending, but it was a bombshell, and...
J.K. Simmons?
Yeah. No. And now he's not going to be a part of it anymore, and it's just...
I do appreciate that, though. That's not a big spoiler, but J.K. Simmons coming back and being
I was pretty
Jonah.
excited for that.
J. Jonah Jameson. I'm like, yes, thank
but
you.
Reimagined as like a hacky
podcaster.
internet. Yeah.
Which is what the video game did. Did you play Spider-Man on PS4?
No, I meant to.
That was their premise. They kind of modernized it, making him like a podcaster. But for whatever reason, Spider-Man listens to it.
Kind of like an InfoWars type guy without the
They're like watching you do
racism yet.
Alright. I need to collect 10 spray cans.
You got 7 of them.
They're like watching me do the tutorial when I was not paying attention and talking. Case in point, I was telling you, that was probably better. We're switching.
Right, yeah, then we can each have
conversation.
Moments of zoning out.
And people watching us, alright, go to the right trigger with every single design you want to spray. Oh wait, we're still going through tutorial. But yeah, so I do group you guys in nerdcore, at least partially. I mean, it sounds like you even played with some.
Yeah. I believe that you're not the only one to consider us nerdcore, and we've definitely played with some of our nerdcore friends, who I guess also slightly take exception to the genre, because nobody wants to be, a one-note thing.
Right.
The difference between us and a lot of these nerdcore acts is we're playing instruments and we're drums and
right.
And a lot of the nerdcore things it's rapping the beats.
MC Lars did bring actually a band with him for a while.
Nice.
So I mean, it's a weird, loosely applied label.
Yeah.
Because
it is a beautiful.
It is really eclectic. Like there's so many different sounds to it. If you go into what people call nerdcore.
Yeah. There's nerdcore punk. All
but it was outside of like Beastie Boys, who kind of blended punk rock with hip hop. But was the form of hip hop I found that I could get into because I'm like, I can relate to this. I understand what they're talking about. Edgar Allan Poe. Oh shit, this is rad.
Yeah. Right.
But recently, thanks to actually some that don't call themselves hip hop, but Megaran, T-Call locally, like brought me to Open Mike Eagle, and he's not nerdcore at all, but he just raps about regular stuff, and you're like, oh, there is like just this subculture of hip hop that's like, I can get into this. It's not gangster rap. It's not.
Right. Yeah, and I like Open Mike Eagle. I played with him with my old band at the. God, I can't even remember the spot in Mesa. Or no, it was in Scottsdale. They used to do shows all the time. Jeez, I don't know.
Road Bar?
No, it was north of that. It was a little bigger.
Electric. No.
They would split. They would split the room at all ages shows. They would put barriers down the middle.
In Scottsdale?
Yeah, like not North Scottsdale, but
was it like Gestures too?
No.
Was that Thomas?
I cannot.
I don't even know if that's still open.
It's been so long.
Roboy.
Yeah. Oh, it's Roboy. Nice. And Korn. My boy Korn. I wish I could hear the music. But
yeah, like thanks to Megaran and Teak, I've actually also just expanded. Because Teak invited me to that one with Open Mike Eagle and was it Video Dave?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, oh, there's even more of this like whole thing that's just like stuff I can understand and relate, and like it's hip hop, it's not nerdcore.
Right. Yeah, hip hop's pretty transcendent at this point. And that's what originally drew me into hip hop, is because when you're exposed to what's on the radio, especially growing up, you think hip hop is one thing, and then when I realized that lyrically you
Wu-Tang and
when I realized that you could literally talk about anything in any song, anything you want to talk about, if you can put the words together, it can be hip hop.
As long as you're just good at putting it together
right.
into a rhythm, into Where it sounds good.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I was writing a lot of lyrics and I couldn't sing, and so the idea of smashing more words together was appealing to me, so I wouldn't have to try to carry a melody with my voice. And then when I discovered people who could do it really well in hip hop, and so that was mind blowing.
So that does kind of bridge me. So Snailmate I actually discovered through Ariel because I sister lived, and I think I met you working at Long Long's Tempe.
Right.
That's also that place will always be remembered because that's where I first saw Playboy Man Baby. And
Yeah.
speaking of bands that hate being called the genre they're not, I thought I'm like, oh, there's another ska band in Phoenix.
Oh yeah. Besides horns, I wouldn't consider
They're
them
not.
ska. Yeah.
They're not, but that was my first impression. I'm like, oh, I got to make a note of this band. What are they called?
Yeah, it's like it's punky. There's horns.
Punk
It's
with horns.
definitely easy to maybe think that they're ska, but they're
But yeah,
more nuanced.
you were bartending, and I don't know. I had seen you perform outside of.
I was in a group called TKLB, and it was like a hip hop. It was me and a DJ, and we were just doing like a kind of psychedelic hip hop thing.
It wasn't Stray Cat. Scott Saldini. No, that was.
We definitely played there a few times for What the Funk Fridays.
Yes.
Yeah, Long Longs. That's where I met Ariel as well with Sister Lip, and I got Sister Lip to play every Monday because that was my night to work and bartend and book. So to make my life easy, I just booked Sister Lip on every Monday and let them fill
Put together
out.
the whole lineup.
Yeah, exactly. So Ariel really helped me out there.
I went to a couple of those.
Yeah, and you know it was every Monday they really did
Enjoyed
it hard,
it.
except when they went on tour, and then they got back from their 3-month tour, and not everyone in the band was too keen on living
Going-
out of a band
Going forward
and
that way.
touring. It's a lot of work, and I don't blame them. And so when they decided they didn't want to tour anymore, Ariel still had the bug and had some shows booked, so they recruited me, and we put some songs together.
Which no Escargot. There's
Escargot was our first EP.
that's okay. I am
Yeah.
thinking that. All right.
And then it was Dine and Dash, and then
The Waiter.
Leftovers. Yeah, the Waiter. That's the. We phased it out of our set list because everyone was requesting it. We're trying to reimagine it because
You guys are good on wordplay using the double.
Yeah.
I was gonna say double entendre, the double meaning.
Yeah, exactly. That's that's one of my favorite songs. But when we wrote it for Snailmate, we kind of imagined it as an elevator song, which was a cool switch up in the context of an album. But now playing it live, it's incredibly boring for me. So we're gonna try to reimagine it, I think.
Where is my there it is. So, so she was she already attending the hip hop like What the Funk Fridays before you guys decided to put together Snailmate?
No. We met at Long Longs, and they had seen me. They had seen me perform with TKLB, and were big fans.
Okay.
Because their drum teacher James Sharp is the drummer of Jackie's Descent, and we played a lot of shows with them. And so Ariel was exposed to my old band TKLB and really liked it. And we got to the point where that's the only genre of music I could do. So when we decided to start a band, it kind of became hip hop, like it took on that. But they'd never even played a really hip hop drum beat before, so I had to teach Ariel how to, not as a drummer, but like show them what hip hop drumming was like. And then they took it in their own direction, which has been really fun to watch the growth.
And it's still like kind of the screaming makes me think more hardcore, makes me think, and then the synth you're on the synth, and a little bit of God, I was gonna use Vocaloid, but voice filters and stuff.
Oh yeah, the vocoder.
This got me right. There we
Logan Zaka.
go. Now we can also get into the game at the same time. But yeah, no, it's really fun and enjoyable, and you guys have a decent following. You did also just like jump in a van and go back on you've been on the road a lot since I've
That's pretty
been
much.
aware of Snailmate.
Yeah, I mean, our third show ever was part of a tour because Ariel had these show dates booked up to a tour, a 420 festival up in Denver, and didn't want to cancel the dates and lose the contacts. So we
Snailmate
grew
took it over.
together. Yeah, and so we basically we're built to tour, and we've been doing it ever since.
Usually that's like, God, even before I was ever following music, it just seemed like even Warped Tour, just getting in a van and going on the road is the way to filter out who really wants to go on the road and live on the road that much and
Yeah,
not have a steady place to live.
and a lot of people think that they want to, and then quickly discover that they're not cut out for it in one way or another, because it's stressful, can be gross, there's, it's...
You're not eating, well, you can kind of eat better, but it's still...
Yeah, after our first long tour, the first year of us being a band and going on long tours, I lost like 30 pounds. So yeah, it's definitely a change of lifestyle and change of pace, but I really like it. And then this year we started doing some international stuff.
Yeah, you've been in Japan and just came back from Europe.
Yep, and
And
that's a
super envious.
whole nother rhythm. Yeah, it was so much fun. I wish I was back there. But that's a whole nother rhythm because we're not sleeping in the van like we do here in the States. So we're doing hostels and sleeping in venues. So that definitely took some getting used to. And we're in the process of figuring out where we're going next year.
Planning it out.
Yeah.
Oh, I hit the wrong button.
Uh-oh.
It's the trigger I boosted.
There's only one set of triggers on these controllers.
Oop. And we're out of...
Oh, we need some paint cans.
This is what I get for not paying attention to the tutorial.
Yeah, when you hand me the controller, I'm gonna probably be struggling.
Jump.
I figured that's the jump.
Spray paint is on the right trigger.
Okay.
Boost is what I was hitting, which was B. And one of the things about Jet Set Radio Future that I was saying before we started streaming is they got rid of the whole joystick movements of right circle, quarter circle, all that, and just kind of streamlined it so you can keep moving and painting.
People complained about that. It seems
That
like a nice
the
quality.
purist.
This seems like a nice quality of life.
The purest, because this way you can keep moving. Oops, if you keep in order.
Right.
The camera has not aged that well, in my opinion.
Because you can't control the camera, right?
Nope.
It just follows you. So I'm seeing the L, saying L is coming up. You also use L.
Oh wait, L can be. Actually, there is a way to grind. We got all those right.
Realistically, it would be very hard to paint that detailed while skating that quickly. So maybe they were complaining about the realism.
Yes.
Which is what you want in a video game. The realism.
Oops. I let go of the trigger. But yeah, I'm back to like in Japan. I have a couple friends. One who did he was an assistant English teacher, but he was just like, man, you can say in hostels they're clean, they're like,
Cheap.
yes,
Like a lot of them were $10 to $20 a night, which is like
say
very
more
people.
polite in culture
Mhm.
and hospitable.
Yeah, I never once felt unsafe walking through like the alleyways with musical equipment in the middle of the night. Never once felt unsafe in any way, and unfortunately, that's not always something you can get away with here in the States.
Except Tucson. Have you been to Tucson? At 2 a.m. you're like, there's no one
Yeah,
on these
where is
streets. I'm
everybody?
confused.
Yeah.
Not even a bum. Where is everyone?
Yeah, it was. I love Japan. I can't wait to go back.
I'm just wanting to go.
Yeah. Is this game
This is-
take place in Japan?
Yep. This is what. Well, Shibuya is in here.
Oh, okay. Shibuya
This
was
is
cool.
I forgot the name of this hill. But yeah, Shibuya Station's in this terminal. At least an artistic interpretation of it.
Right. I don't remember the being so.
Crowded?
Yeah. Whereas,
Nope. Okay.
definitely.
We're playing on an Xbox, and I didn't even look at what the disc was. We had some technical issues at the top. We were gonna play Scott Pilgrim, but the PS3's it looks like the handshake through HDMI is not playing well with the capture device. So
Out of paint.
they had it. Oh, that's what happened. I'm like, why? So Shane, they happen to have a nice Xbox.
We dug it out of the box.
I found a game we could play after working through some technical issues of working controllers.
Dusted it off. Yeah. There's 3 controllers. Only one works though. So here we are.
Which is why we're eventually trading off here.
Yeah. We were
Alright.
gonna play Burnout.
And then we couldn't do 2-player. So we jumped into Jet Set Radio, which you're probably enjoying a nice soundtrack underneath.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it.
You can borrow mine. I have both this and the original. I love this game.
Did they ever port it to any other systems?
No. Oh, wait. They released Jet Set Radio on Xbox Live Arcade and PlayStation Network, or Arcade, or whatever they.
Well, they should really remaster it for the Switch, because that's what I got.
And they're in bed with Sega anyway, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
Or they're at least working with them to publish new Bayonettas, which we're still waiting on Bayonetta 3.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what do we got? Let's see, so-called graffiti stuff?
You can switch your character.
Cool, huh? But, which was the first international tour you guys did? Was that Japan?
That was Japan, yeah. Which was in May, I think. Yeah, May of this year.
Which is super cool, and through some friends, right?
Yeah, we had a band that we met online, the Devils in Libido, and they took us on their album release tour through Japan, and they are actually going to be here October 17th. We're playing at the Rhythm Room, and then we're doing 8 days up the coast, California, like LA, San Francisco, San Diego, and Vegas, and Flagstaff, and then we'll be back on the 27th at the Yucca Tap Room. So we're getting them 2 shows in town, and they're
Start here and then end here.
yeah, and they're really cool. They're super sweet people. Their music is really wild. They're drums and bass, and they are just super talented and freaky and just very unique. So hopefully people will come see them play because it's totally worth it. And they took such good care of us and would do so for anyone else who wanted to go to Japan.
Which is super cool.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys should have a good amount of people come out for you, right?
Yeah, we've been had some decent turnouts at shows. It's always hard touring internationally and so much because we don't get to nurture the our following here like we would like to, but it's worth it obviously to go out and do other
I mean,
things.
I've heard stories from friends in other touring bands, and I don't know if they want this public or not, so I won't name who it is. But their hometown, they end up getting booked on some super cool shows with some big punk bands. But they're always on the road all year, so the local bands are like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
They're like, well, we met them while we were in this city, and we just happen to be good friends, and they're like, you want to come out? You want to play on our show?
Yeah, and
But
I
the local crowd doesn't really know them because they're not there as much anymore.
Right. Yeah, and that's hard. There's a lot of times we'll come back in town and we wonder why we don't get considered for certain local things, but we're not here to foster those relationships with either the people booking the shows or the other bands on them.
Yeah.
Even though we know most people, we're not always on everyone's mind on a local level, which is
It's
understandable.
a double edge because you want to do that to grow the
Right.
band. There are some bands, and some do it because they just have fun playing, but they don't leave town, so their fan base never grows outside of their friends and the bands they always play with.
Exactly. And I wouldn't trade touring for anything. We've met so many cool people out on the road, and
It's gotta be liberating.
it is, and so many friends, and just neat places that we've experienced, and so now we can travel almost anywhere in the country and see friendly faces and feel at home, and there's places we look forward to, whether it's taco shops in unlikely places like Montana or a certain,
I don't know anyone that looks forward to Montana.
we love Montana.
Even Peggy Hill didn't look forward to Montana and visiting her parents.
Well, Peggy Hill was playing rock shows in Bozeman.
I recently revisited all King of the Hill,
Nice.
and that's in my brain.
That's so funny.
What do you think of Montana?
It's one of our favorite places in the country. There's a bunch of really cool towns there, and everyone's super sweet, and the weather's awesome, especially when you have to sleep in your car.
Which, is there a time of the year that you guys try not to book and tour, or is there?
Yeah, like this year we went through the we did South by Southwest, and then visited Florida and everywhere else in the South during the March, April months because it's not gonna kill you. We made the mistake of going down through there in July, and the humidity and everything is just oppressive and it sucks. So you can't sleep in your car in that kind of weather.
Is it more better? Is it more better? No, that's not right. That's not right grammar. But is there a certain dynamic way of doing it so you only hit certain places for certain times a year? So then visit like the south, visit the more humid places when it's cooler out.
Exactly.
Visit the north when it's hot out here.
Yeah, so then we go up to Montana and all that stuff in July.
Become a snowbird.
Exactly. I used to make fun of snowbirds being from Arizona, but I totally get it now. The weather, yeah, so then when we're up in July, up in Montana in July, we can sleep in our car then, it's not too hot, and, but then once September, October hits, it starts getting very cold there, and my thin Arizona blood can't handle it.
What? You mean everything under 70 degrees is like freezing? What are you talking about?
I know, it rained a little bit in Germany, and we're like, we didn't bring jackets. And
So-
but everyone, conversely, everyone was complaining about the heat in Germany, and we were laughing.
We're like, what?
Yeah.
This is shorts weather.
Serious,
Then they make fun of us when it goes the reverse.
Of course.
So then when you were, like touring local, continental U.S., do you have your van? So what did you do when you guys, did you just rent a van while you were in Europe?
In Europe, we rented a van, and I drove the whole time. So I was driving on the Autobahn, going about 100 miles an hour, which was a cool experience.
Can't I talk to him?
What was the button there? Oh,
Yeah. That's
it's trigger, right trigger.
right trigger. That's just center. Or, oh, there we go. It's also your spray paint.
Well, I'm glad you didn't spray paint them.
Waste it when I go pick it up again.
Yeah, so we rented a van and drove through Germany, which was cool because you could do that at our own pace.
So the roads aren't as crazy as all the YouTube videos suggest.
No, the Autobahn, once you kind of got used to the rhythm, it was super easy, it was super chill, it wasn't stressful at all, and for a freeway that is not policed and there's no speed limit, I think I saw one fender bender the entire time. And
It's not policed?
I think I saw one cop the whole time.
That's just like Phoenix.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, they've got it figured out. There was no accidents or anything crazy like that, so they know what they're doing over there. When we were in Japan, though, we were either
I again did not look at the disc.
well, we could barely even get the disc
There we go.
tray open.
Oh, so it actually might be crap.
I gotta get back up there.
Yes.
We did when we were in Tokyo, we took the train to all the shows, and then when we went up to Osaka and Kyoto and Fukui, we rode in the van with the Devils in Mojito. They had a van that they shared between all their different bands.
What am I missing? That might be timing.
Just user error.
Well, that's cool though. Oh wait, because I think you or Ariel was telling me about carrying stuff onto trains.
Yeah.
And trying to minimize what you had to carry on your back.
Right, so we were, luckily in Japan, all the venues have backlines, they all have full drum sets and amps and so all I had to bring was my synthesizers, so I used a keyboard stand at all the venues and plugged in directly, and then Ariel, all they had to bring was their kick pedal because all the venues had really nice drum sets, so we didn't have to carry that much besides those things and our merch on the trains, which was really nice. But in Europe, we had to bring our own drum kit, and we bought an amp while we were there, and a keyboard stand, and so we had a little more equipment.
What am I missing?
You know, why is it? It's not jumping.
You try it.
Is she just not jumping?
Or it's our controller.
Right? It's just,
Always blame the controller. It's never my skills.
you just, right, exactly.
That's. It's my timing.
Yeah, I did it way earlier than I would have done it naturally because of
That's probably what it is. I was looking for the edge and hitting the button and wasn't. This looked cool. Well, this still looks cool.
It does. I'm cell shading ages well.
That's why Wind Waker is so good.
Oh God, I love that game. You can play that game anytime.
So did you have time to just explore Japan and?
We had a few days off, which was really nice. There you go.
If you hit pause, does he show up on the map? There's 2 orange dots.
Right. Oh wow.
Oh, there's only one way to go.
Maybe it's like a time thing, or in Japan we played 9 shows. We were there for 2 weeks, so we had about 5 days off. So yeah, we were able to spend some time. We were able to spend some time exploring. We went to Harajuku and Akihabara, and really saw
Super Potato.
Yeah, saw some amazing sights, and the shopping there was wild. I could have spent $1,000 more there, but
1,000 yen, $10.
right, yeah,
Ish.
yeah, it was wild. And the food was incredible. So luckily we had time to explore and seek out some good food, especially Ariel has celiac disease, so they can't eat gluten. So we had to find places that were gluten free, which
Fish,
is
right?
pretty rare there. Oh, and they're vegetarian.
Oh.
So
Yikes.
it's pretty
Okay.
rare to find places that Ariel could eat, which is chosen. Which is chosen.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I hope I won't regret it. I'm scared.
Try and unlock B.
That's a weird way to phrase that question. Which is chosen?
Oh, you're racing him. That's what's happening.
Oh.
To
I'm-
to take over the territory.
Oh god. Yeah. So finding food for Ariel is always a challenge. But we found some. I can eat anything, and I do. I exercise that ability.
I mean, gluten free is already hard enough. Had a former stepmother that had that.
Exactly.
Like you can't even cook. Like egg is used to even just hold some things together, using a different way to put together.
And they eat a
Cakes
lot
and
of
stuff.
egg in Japan.
Yes.
Going left here.
Yes, we're gonna go yes. And you go faster when you go in.
Mm-hmm.
No need for health. Because I was gonna say, my next question is: did you try the McDonald's in Japan? Since everyone says they have weird burgers and weird.
We did. We felt a little self-conscious about going to McDonald's in Japan, but the thing about that is here in the United States, McDonald's fries not only contain gluten, but they also contain beef.
Because of what they're fried with.
Yeah.
They use that oil for everything.
Right. But in Japan, they're gluten-free and completely vegetarian, or vegan really, and so
Which
Ariel was able to eat the fries there, and
That's cool.
so we took advantage of that because there was one right by one of our hostels we stayed at, and while we felt kind of guilty about going to McDonald's in Japan, fries were good. But we didn't go there very often. But
which also is the debate, by the way, with the Impossible Burger. Like, you realize it's same grill as they use the regular patties, right? He just knocked you out of the way.
yeah, and then I started doing some sort of breaking thing. I thought I was kicking his ass.
You were kind of.
Yeah.
There's no progress on how far you are, is there? Here.
No, there's no way to
It's
tell.
Go up through there and jump. Theoretically, we'll get you past him. Using his own shortcut against him.
Yeah.
Oh, you caught up. Left.
Oh, damn it. Breaking. Don't break.
There we go. Jump. Or that. Oh, and B is boost.
B?
Yeah.
Oh, now you tell me. Son
At
of
the
a
wrong
bitch.
place.
Oh, no.
At the wrong place.
I was doing so good. You
Yeah.
try. Yeah, so the food was amazing. Ariel struggled a little bit, but I was in.
Is fish not gluten free? Oh, but yeah,
Vegetarian, yeah.
for vegetarian. Ah, crap. I was like, wait. It was like, cause they do a lot of seafood there.
A lot of seafood, and the seafood flavor seeps into a lot of their dishes. So Ariel, by the end of it, even though they were not eating any fish, they were still experiencing a lot of fish flavor, and they were pretty tired of it. If I taste one more food with fish in it, I'm gonna freak out.
Wait, did your clothes smell of fish?
No,
No.
nothing like that crazy. But Ariel still tasted more fish than they would have hoped for. But they were a good sport. Yeah, it was really fun.
Alright, oh shit. Whatever. Let's go with it.
Boost!
That's what I'm trying. It's not working. Grind. We're just gonna grind.
There you go.
And then, oh, that'll work here.
Yeah,
Can't I boost? Oh, there we go.
nice. Oh, I think it uses 10 cans, 5 cans?
Yeah. Let's gain an advantage. But yeah, supposedly, like, the food quality in general, even at restaurants, is much better over there.
And, I keep hitting this line, and it's everywhere. There's so many restaurants because all the restaurants seat, maybe 10 people. So every street you go on has so many places to eat. And it was just,
You know about their weird KFC fascination, right?
yeah, we didn't eat at the KFC, but we saw plenty of it.
It's a Christmas tradition there to get a bucket of KFC.
Yeah, it's
For
fun-
whatever reason.
That's funny.
We're gonna see how horrible I can do this.
Oh
Uh,
no!
We'll just do this.
That's your,
My go-to.
yeah, that's the house mafia.
My timing is off. I gotta remember to jump sooner.
Left, boost! And then you gotta hit this one rail at the end is where I fucked up.
Because I told you how to boost.
Yeah.
At the last minute.
And the last one.
There we go.
Nice. And
We unlock beat and we take over his territory.
nice. Eat it, beat. Yeah, my parents actually had a foreign exchange student from Japan for a while. His name was Shinji, and so I learned a lot about Japanese culture through him. And then when we went out and played in Osaka and Kyoto, he came and hung out with me. So that was really cool to see him because I hadn't seen him in maybe 5
Oh,
years.
that's really cool.
Yeah, so it was nice to see a friendly face out there.
I was gonna say pen pals, but nowadays the internet makes it a lot easier.
And then we were playing our last show in around Tokyo, and some people came and saw us because they were from Arizona, and they saw on the flyer it said
You
you
were
were
playing?
from Arizona, so they came and saw us play, and so it was really interesting. But yeah, everyone was so nice to us out there. People bought us gifts. We got like we gotta fight the police. I like
I
it.
gotta spray them.
Nice.
Oh wait. Oh, okay. I'm like, wait, what's going on?
People bought us chopsticks with our names engraved
That's
and
cool.
kanji on them, and it was a really.
Any fun tattoos?
Ariel was trying to get a tattoo out there, but we ran out of time, and I don't have any tattoos, but next time for sure.
It's like, are they cheaper than here?
Right? Yeah, we'll find out. We'll report back.
I've not added to
You got your Mario
and Zelda.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah. Yeah, we're definitely gonna go back. So anything you need me to report on, I can.
Oh, what the hell?
Cheap shot.
Alright. It's been covered in. So we're going to Shibuya next. But how do I get back? Now we gotta get back to our hub, I think.
Now you gotta cover. I think if you pull up your map, it's just around the corner.
Let's go get that sparkly object.
Ooh.
Oh, that's badly. Okay.
There you go.
I think these are songs.
Are they?
Maybe.
Interesting.
There's a rhythm to this. I just don't have it at the moment. There were some good ones. There we go. Back to the garage.
Oh, nice.
And in Europe, wait, so now I'm trying to keep my thoughts together.
Right? It's hard to do.
What's my goal in this game? Oh, what was I talking about?
Who am I?
Did you go to the Tokyo Tower? Did I see that?
We did not. we walked around a lot. We didn't do anything super touristy in Japan besides like the shopping places and some
Right.
things like that.
Which, like, Super Potato, I named Rock, but I've heard that's kind of been.
We wanted to go to Tokyo Tower and we wanted to go to like the robot restaurant, do some things like that. But we had to stay pretty close to our hostel on our days off, and then the days that we had shows, sound check was around 2:00.
You ever play The World Ends With You?
The world ends. Oh, the game?
Yes.
No.
Oh. That takes place in Shibuya.
Okay.
Rocky Mountain.
Yeah, so the days that we had shows, we sound check was at 2, show started at 7, so it was an all day affair. So we didn't, those days we didn't really get to go out and see much of each other.
I just go back to the Poison Jam.
Poison Jam, freaky.
Because what? There's supposed to be a statue of a dog in what, Shibuya? Special statue?
Oh.
And I only know of it because The World Ends With You.
Oh, okay.
It's safe. It's notable in that game.
Next time we go, we're going to schedule some more time to do some sightseeing because we didn't get to do as much sleep.
Also, how was the jet lag? Did you just
The
like
jet-
have a day to be like,
On the way there, it was fine. The way back was one of the worst I've ever experienced. For like a week after our return, my sleep hours were all messed up, and it was a nightmare. It wasn't as bad coming back from Europe.
oh,
And luckily, we got to do some sightseeing in Europe. We saw the Eiffel Tower and some stuff in France.
the traditional?
Yeah,
Did you do any Italy?
we did. We were just France, Germany, and Belgium.
Okay.
Yeah, we were kind of scrambling to get the dates that we had at the last minute because the person who was originally going to book our tour kind of dropped off the face of the planet and screwed us over after
Oh.
we had like signed a contract with them and bought tickets and everything.
Did you give them any money?
We gave them a little bit of money, so that was an unfortunate situation. So we had to. Oh, jeez.
Speaking of unfortunate.
Yeah. So we had to pull it together at the last minute, and it was really successful considering. But for next time we go, it's going to be a much better schedule that we're going to be on because now that we have a drum set there now, we have an amp there now that a friend of ours is holding for us, and we kind of have a feel for the rhythm of the travel there now. So I think next time we go, it's going to be really great.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Made a lot of good friends and connections.
I know an awesome photographer in Germany.
Nice.
If you ever need a help. I met her through 30 Zero. She
Nice.
came out here to take photos of that when they played Punk and Drummer.
Oh, that's cool.
It was really good. She's actually trying to get me to go over there. It's all a money issue. I need to get rid of some of my own personal debt.
Oh yeah.
But
Plane tickets are not cheap.
like, there's a 3-week stretch of like, was it Punk Rock Holiday, Graz Rock, and another festival?
Oh yeah.
Like, so it's the perfect time to go over there if I want to just go to punk festivals.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
Just be there for 3 weeks.
That sounds awesome. That's how long we were there. It's a good length of time.
Well, then, like, what was it, Japan? Friends suggested like 2 weeks is pretty good.
Yeah, that's about. We were up at maybe 2.
But to plan on having a day that you're dead to the world.
Yeah, the day that we got there, we checked into our hostel, and the guy from Devils in Libido, Taira, he was like, "Hey, come to this show. My girlfriend's playing. My drummer's in another band that's playing." And so that night we went and saw a show the night we got there. So that was a little intense, but it kind of forced us to.
Acclimate.
Yeah, and so the rest of the time was cake, but coming back was a freaking nightmare.
I mean, you went back in time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we left at like 4 in the afternoon.
We know time. I know time travelers.
Yeah, exactly. It ain't fun. It ain't like the movies.
What? I just saw Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker fly back, and it was like nothing.
They made it look easy.
They're already cracking the case,
Mm-hmm.
and then discovering a casino in Vegas.
Jackie Chan has a little more practice than I do, I'm sure.
Right? One of the more notable Hong Kong residents.
Mm-hmm.
Oop, other direction. I think I've tagged most of everything. Does that show up on here? I don't know what those are.
That must be. It's so Just
3D.
old school, yeah. Got that going for it. That's so funny. Game design has come all, is always
The
evolving.
ease of convenience for gamers and the systems and the HUDs have improved greatly.
Yeah.
Including camera control.
Oh, yeah, it's
I've got a put it behind my back trigger on this game.
the center, the old center control, that's always
If I hold it, it seems to stay behind it.
Yeah, not being able to rotate it with the right joystick is very strange.
It's a luxury I got used to.
I can take it for granted now.
Alright, what am I supposed to tag? What am I missing?
I've seen a few of them, they're kind of purplish.
Oh, they below me, they're below me.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Grind faster.
I think jumping and grinding speeds me up. Right, there we go.
Makes sense.
Wait.
There's
So,
one.
I see icons. But, I'm envious of you guys going to Japan.
I would recommend it to anyone if you can make it happen. It is an experience.
Traveling in general
Yeah.
opens up your worldview.
It's great. I wouldn't trade it for anything. And we're in talks to. It's more than likely gonna happen. We're gonna go to Brazil next year.
Oh, cool.
I'm
I
excited.
know someone that just went down there.
We're gonna just keep. Our goal is to play everywhere, and so we're gonna
South Africa.
keep going. You name it. If there's a
North Africa.
there's a stage, we will play it. That's our promise.
I keep getting hit. That one didn't hurt. Now I'm trying to find. You see anything?
There's a bus to your right. Oh, over there. The ugly purple graffiti.
Oh, I see. Why does it say Eb?
No.
Oop.
You got 6 more. I think it should all be right over there.
That's the shiny thing that I have to figure out a way up to.
Yeah, and then to the right.
Also, there is some over there. That does confirm it's yellow. Those dots are the sprint now.
Oh.
That's why you look both ways.
That's right. Oh, so close.
Did I miss that one? I missed one. Alright. Oh, our counter. We got 3 left somewhere. Oop,
There's
that's
one
one
there.
in there. So, 2. Where are you?
I think it should be on the building, if I recall from the map.
I keep hitting the wrong button.
There's one just where you just were.
That orange dot?
The
Oh, there it is.
yellow dot.
Alright. We're problem solving this. Then it's your turn.
It's exhausting.
So, you always did hip hop? Or was there any. What was like the first music you were doing?
Before that, I got kicked out of a few bands back in the day, like pop punk bands. Like every kid is in a pop punk band,
I've come to that conclusion. Everyone has played in a punk band as their first band, and then they go whatever direction they go.
Yeah, and I got kicked out for because I didn't want to sing like they wanted me to sing. They wanted me to, sing like Blink-182 or something like that. I didn't want to do it.
All the small things will break you apart.
There it is. Right in front of you. To the right. Yes.
Oh, right in the street.
Right there. Boom. And then I got kicked out of the band. I didn't want to do things the way anyone else wanted to do it, so I started making music on my computer by myself, making beats, writing stupid songs, and I just kept doing it for myself, and I got better at it, and I got refined, and then evolved into a more hip hop style, and it's kind of evolved naturally that way for a long time. It was just kind of like weird, jokey songs, like They Might Be Giants, but not without the musical ability.
Without a full band.
Right, yeah.
I know people that have put together technically bands around music they composed entirely themselves.
Mm-hmm. And that was kind of my goal for a while, and then I was in a band. We were a pseudo band, but it was a DJ playing the beats that I'd made, and then me rapping over I composed, but it was just being played, and then he added vocals and scratching and stuff like that to it. Whoop. I think you ran into that bus.
Yes, I did. It was on purpose.
Uh-huh.
No.
And, but yeah, so now, this is technically the first real band I've been in where I'm controlling the music and everything, and collaborating with another person on a creative level, with a drummer. And
Speaking of levels, they appear to be above me.
yeah.
Uh,
Find some sort of staircase to go.
or these things that I just jumped off of. These traffic lights take you over.
Oh. Yeah,
See,
that
that's
was
the
it.
real way to
Oh,
cross
there's
traffic.
one.
Where did the poison jam
They're
go?
up there.
I have not gone up there, and I'm gonna get hit again.
What happened when we're playing traffic? But yeah, I enjoyed hip hop, but a lot of the music I listened to was like doom metal and stoner rock and a lot of like funk rock, but I never had an outlet to do it. I never had a band to play with. So STEM, I try to incorporate that to the best of my musical abilities. I'm still learning the keyboards. I wasn't playing the keyboards until we started STEM, so it's only
Hey,
been
really?
about, yeah. So it's only been about 4 years I've been playing the keyboards.
That's impressive in its own.
Thanks. I've made some progress, but the only thing I know how to play, are stand-made songs.
I don't think I'm going fast enough. Where am I? Okay. Now, where am I supposed to go?
They're up then.
There they are. Over. No, there.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm figuring it out. Playing the keyboards and rapping. That's been a struggle, but.
Nero has her headset.
Yeah, and they were never allowed to do vocals in Sister Love, so they were really pensive about doing any sort of backup vocals. And we were practicing one day, and I heard Ariel do that scream. Apparently, they used to practice screaming in their room to like metalcore videos.
It's like stress relief.
Yeah, that they wanted to sing in like I don't know. I guess metalcore is the genre. Like yeah. So they had practiced screaming and never had an outlet for it. So that when they showed me, it was kind of like a joke. Like, oh, and I was like, oh, that sounds really good. We have to use this. We gotta do more of that. So it kind of just happened naturally that way. And now Ariel's doing stuff, some more singing stuff as well. Just trying to expand, playing the kazoo on this song, and trying to anything that we can do where we don't have to add any other members and push it.
This camera.
Yeah, we try to push it as much as we can because we're just two people, but not easy.
I'm figuring it out finally.
Nice.
The only timing is the dumb jumps. That's a preemptively expected jump
Right, exactly.
when you press the button.
A little bit of lag.
Or is that the controller? I'm gonna blame the controller.
I think so. Feel pretty old.
I mean, we had one that didn't even work.
Exactly. We're lucky that the A button works.
It's like Sister Lip. Only Cassie's on. Cassie? She's the only one that's gone on to keep playing, right?
Right. Yeah, the other two members are kind of doing their own thing. But yeah, Cassidy's joining or starting another band.
I formally met them in LA of all things. No, I was doing merch with Nomada,
Oh yeah.
and Sister Lip joined them at their East LA show.
Yeah.
Where was I going?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that.
I'm facing it, whatever it is.
The blue thing.
That. Oh god, I just did the Nintendo thing you were worried about.
Yeah. Button swap.
And
Oh, wow, that motion blur is intense.
but yeah, that's where I formally met him.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's combo.
Combo.
Let's go into your video game history though. What was the first video game you played?
Probably Sonic the Hedgehog. I grew up with Genesis.
Genesis 1?
Uh-huh.
So the one that a week from yesterday.
Yeah.
The mini is fashioned after that one.
Yeah, I grew up with that. Me and my little brother played Sonic all the
Did I
time.
not hit?
So that's what I grew up on, the Genesis, and then got a PlayStation. And then I was pretty much PlayStation, so I never had a Nintendo system until I had a GameCube. And then now I have a Switch, which is mine, because I bought, which is great for touring. You know, when I'm doing 7 months in the band, it's nice to have.
It's like designed for that.
Oh, it's the best. But I had a 360 and now I have a PlayStation 4 that I got from my little brother. My little brother is into video games and he's got a couple different systems, so he's let me borrow his old systems, and that's the only reason I was able to play a lot of things, just because of him. Oh.
Will that count? Probably not.
It's hard to tell when it rails in. Did I get it? Oh!
There's nothing that tells me
It's very confusing.
without falling down, so I probably already had to start. So did the people around me.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my video game history. I'm pretty much stuck on.
And now you know, I informed you how there's no region lock, so next time you're in Japan or Europe, you can actually just purchase a game there if you need to.
Right. Yeah, or if I want to buy certain games online, I just have to make a new Nintendo account and say.
I already have a Japanese account.
Nice. Smart. Yeah, so the Switch is great. There's so many good indie games that I'm kind of playing catch up with. I have some new ones, but and I bought it and beat Breath of the Wild. But for the most part, I'm playing a bunch of old classic indie games that I never had a chance to play before. So that's been really fun.
All right.
You got this.
Gotta pay attention.
Jump.
Oh god.
That was confusing. Oh.
There. Failed. Floaty.
Very floaty. You have to watch it again.
No, I can skip it.
Okay.
Alright. Now we can cut through the. Oh, damn it. Here.
I got this.
Man, Jet Set Radio. Now I'm trying to think of where is my conversation at?
Oh,
So what's your favorite game you're playing right now?
I just got Blasphemous, which is kind of a Soulsy Metroidvania 16-bit game. It's pretty brutal.
You get to keep your currency. I saw that.
Yeah, that's really nice. So I'm enjoying that. My favorite game of the last year would be Hollow Knight. That was really great.
That one's challenging too.
I managed to beat it, but I'm not gonna run through the pantheon of bosses or anything, and the super challenges. I'm just not really good of a gamer. But
Well, now you can practice on the road with the Switch.
yeah.
Also, a really good one that they did bring over here. I imported it, but Taiko Drum Master. Taiko no Tatsujin?
Yeah.
That was a really good one.
Nice. And then I'm playing. I need to beat Shovel Knight. I've been playing that. And
They keep giving free DLC to that. There's even more DLC coming free to that.
I know. and I've got a whole backlog of games I need to play,
We all do.
Axiom Verge and Axiom Verge and Celeste and
Celeste is amazing.
yeah.
Except that, so speaking of free DLC, they put out a whole nother level. Except I never went through 8 because you have to get the what do you call them? Gem hearts. And so
I did it.
yes, you did. But that
Was I supposed to land there?
yeah,
Did that not?
that counted though.
Oh.
You did everything you needed to before failing.
You get rewarded with an upskirt. Great.
Oh yeah, it was Celeste though. So I jumped back in. I'm like, all right. Oh, I can't play the new stuff, even though it's harder anyways.
Yeah.
I have to still get 2 more of those crystal hearts, the gem hearts.
Oh, okay, you got it like
But that whole game is was it symbolic for dealing with anxiety?
That's what I read, and I really want to play it because I definitely know those feels.
Which
So,
I played the entire game not knowing that. And then revisit. I've had to replay to try and get to those crystal hearts, and I'm like, oh, I see now.
Yeah, I'm that's definitely what I'm looking forward to. But like I said, there's so freaking many, and when I'm not on tour, I actually play games less usually because I've got work and I'm doing other things, and so I'm trying to make time for myself to play video games because it's really helping with my own depression. So this might have to be the end of it. We've been on a black screen for a while. That was the final boss, right?
Yeah, well, that was unlocking that character in that area. I mean, say, Night in the Woods was one that I played while unemployed and made me feel a lot better.
Good. Yeah, that's another one. There's so many, and I unfortunately monitor the Switch eShop for sales, so I've just got so many that I bought for cheap.
Black screen.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a lot of games I want to play, and I'm really excited to do some more streaming stuff and start creating some content with the local group, Topless Robot.
Oh, yeah, Ryan Shrimp.
Yeah, he's a great dude. So I'm gonna start working with them on some content. So I'm really excited for that as an outlet besides music, you know. But music's still our priority. We have a whole album of music written, but I'm struggling with the lyrics. So that's where I'm at.
You got nothing. Take it back. Take it back. Off camera, everyone's like, what's that? Go back. We'll see what happens then.
At least you got it open.
Everyone wanted to see the HUD of the Xbox, right?
Mhm.
The original Xbox. This is what Wreck-It Ralph was based on.
It has an elegance to it. I will say that.
Actually, when Ralph goes into the router and Ralph wrecks the internet, that's some people think that it was actually based on the boot up of this, the green blobby thing that he jumps into.
Nice.
All right, we're just gonna watch Blink's the Time Sweeper.
Is this a trailer?
Yes.
For Blink? For the
This was from the co-creator of Sonic the Hedgehog, is a funny thing, in his studio. But the game was never the greatest.
Yeah, I was gonna say its legacy hasn't really survived. That's some nice water effects though.
So it was that time when, yes, when Prince of Persia and the Sands of Time, it was like,
I remember
you can only do time stuff with hard drives, and Xbox has a hard drive.
Yeah. Well, and now a lot of I think the Sega games, or at least some of the Nintendo re-releases, they have a rewind feature on them for the old.
Yep. And Nintendo added it, I think, to the NES stuff, and then it's already in the Super Nintendo stuff. If you're a Nintendo Online subscriber.
Right.
But you just have to check into Wi-Fi, I think it's every 7 days.
Which is another. Now I have a whole bunch of other games that I never played. Like I never played the original Metroid or Super Metroid.
Original Metroid is a lot harder.
Yeah, so there's so many games that I have to play now, and just not enough time. And I really need to write some damn lyrics for this album. So.
Oh, I can relate to not the writing lyrics part, but the time management.
Yeah, it's hard.
Plus, I preloaded already. I have Link's Awakening preloaded on my Switch for next Friday when it unlocks.
I know, I want to play that too.
And I got Borderlands yesterday, and I've only sunk an hour into it.
Borderlands 2 was the only game that I ever pre-ordered, and I remember standing in line at GameStop.
Did it save
for it?
I think that's us. Let's hope it's us.
It says a playtime
1:13. Have we been streaming that long? Yeah, we might have.
Yeah.
Dust storm warning. What we get for being in a room without windows.
Right. We're cut off.
Oh, let's see. I actually once had, I don't know what in all the moving around, I once had a beat figure.
Did we get combo?
Yeah, so he did unlock.
That's cool. It's insane.
Alright. We can go see what the other area is. And then I'm trying to think what my normal bullet point conversation stuff is. It's usually like, where did you start? What was your first music instrument, or whatever?
Yeah. And we covered a lot of it.
How'd the band start? First band. Did you ever play the Stray Cat? No. God, that building is still there too.
I loved that bar. That was cool. It was so unique. You know, so many bars now are just kind of a big square.
Yes.
And that one had a very unique layout.
And it had a smoker room.
Yeah, it had the smoking room next to the stage. I met a lot of cool people there, especially in the hip hop scene.
I think it's these buttons, by the way. I'm noticing delay.
Or just it not working.
Yeah.
Registering at all.
Come on. Well, they were analog buttons. This was a generation of analog buttons.
Oh.
Sony made it popular by, I think it was the DualShock 2? At least the DualShock 3. Even the press buttons were analog buttons. I think the original Xbox were too.
Oh.
Because Gran Turismo, then the pressure you put on the A button was your acceleration.
Oh.
It's we should use these trigger buttons for acceleration type of. And I think what's happening is it's not registering the input as quickly if you're not hammering it down.
Right.
I'm trying to figure out where we should go for one last thing. For one last rambling around.
What does this person want?
I heard through the grapevine from hanging out at the Rocaca Del Heights.
Sounds like a lead to me.
Alright, how do we get to the Rocaca Del? Wait, what's that say?
There
we
it
go.
is. Dead ahead.
We'll go that way. Now, probably don't want to fall. It's because it's probably over there. Where's the bridge? So what was your favorite Sega game playing? And are you picking up that classic?
I will not be picking up the classic just because of how rarely I get to sit in front of a TV. If I were to do anything, I'd get like a Sega Classic collection on the Switch. Although it's really tempting because I loved, my old Sega Tower of Power and everything, hooking games in through like Sonic and Knuckles and the whole stack, and then you can buy.
What we all expected Banjo-Tooie to do, and it didn't.
Right. And also, maybe I'd get a Sega, but I just don't hardly have time for it. There's so many things I haven't
Oh,
done.
this is also one of the nicer looking areas too.
But so the Sonic games were some of my favorites. Sonic.
Which one? Sonic 2?
Sonic 2
Which is
great.
most people's favorite?
I really liked Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles.
Did you play Mania?
I did. I played some of Sonic Mania. I didn't beat
It's
it.
really good. Other than I was expecting all new levels, and I'm like, it's kind of a remixed version of it,
That was
with
cool.
an awesome remixed version of the sound also.
Yeah, the whole thing was neat, and I really think it's cool how some of these bigger companies are embracing
Their
indie
lineage.
developers and their lineage, like Nintendo allowing a company to use their IP with like Cadence of Hyrule,
Which was awesome.
some shit like that.
And then I jumped back into what was the original game?
Tomb of the Necrodance, Crypt of the
Crypt of the
Necrodance.
Necrodance,
Yeah.
sure. And realized it's so hard as hell.
Yeah, that's another game I have that I need to play. And then with the Sonic Mania thing, it's basically those people were hackers making their own
Yep.
Sonic levels with ROMs.
Whitehead. Was it Ryan Whitehead?
Yeah, and so Sega, reached out to them, which is, unprecedented. So I think that's
The
really
test
cool.
subject, Ryan Whitehead, I think it was what it. But his test subject was that he had created some kind of good emulation of it on phones, and they're like, oh, wait.
Yeah, the Sonic mobile ports were all based on
I think
that.
this is telling us we should stop.
Right.
There is nothing on the screen again.
And then I really enjoyed Vector Man and Earthworm
God,
Jim.
Vector Man.
Vector Man was cool. It's
I've
very
gotten
hard.
further as an adult with Earthworm Jim than I ever did as a kid.
Very difficult. Everything was difficult. So the fact being able to maybe revisit them with a save anywhere and a rewind function is definitely tempting. Yeah.
But it's cheating, right? The purists.
Yeah.
As an adult, or
I mean,
I think we consider ourselves adults.
back in the day, I had a Game Genie, so I mean, you do a lot of crazy cheats with that.
But also time is minimal.
Yeah.
I think it's also just because doing your passion project, you're using time for that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing mine, I think.
Yeah.
But it's just like, wait, I still like playing video games, but I need to work on those photos.
I feel like you're pretty good at multitasking. You do a lot more than most people.
Thank you.
It's commendable.
I still have more that I want to do. Is crazy.
Yeah, same here. And it's hard. It's the biggest enemy, at least for me, is myself. Just getting motivated.
I feel like I've experienced that more once I embrace doing photography more.
Good.
Where I'm more critical, and it's in my own head, and being like, no, this is awesome. Why am I thinking this is a negative just because they didn't share this picture? I'm like, no, it's good. Whatever.
Right. Yeah, it's all part of it.
Like the up and down of it, of just putting out art in some form.
Exactly.
And waiting for the up and down of the criticism or the praise.
Yeah. Yeah, it can definitely, if you don't feel like you're being appreciated, it can lead to some pretty toxic loops, in your head, and it's hard.
Usually it's more just, I think they're busy too, and you're just like, they just probably didn't see it.
Right.
And you're here holding yourself critical against, or I'm holding myself critical against. I'm like, why aren't they liking this post?
Right. I've spent a lot.
I thought this was one of my best photos I've ever done.
I know. I'm really trying to spend less time on Facebook and Instagram.
It's healthier.
And I feel better. But then when I see that I've missed things, especially relating to my band, I feel bad because it's like I'm supposed to.
There's some people I noticed, and not to take away from what they do because I appreciate it. There are a couple musicians that I noticed they will personally just go through their hashtags and just like everything in it, which makes people feel appreciated. It's awesome, but then it's probably because I'm paying attention to it so much that I'm noticing it. But I'm like, I know what you're doing.
It's hollow, yeah.
But at the same time, a lot of people are like, that made their day.
Yeah, it's true.
And I'm like, this is really cool of you, even if you're not taking as much time to be
right.
like.
You couldn't quiz them on it later,
You saw my photo, right? No. What?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for liking my thing. And they're just scratching.
But at the same time, not a ton of artists do that either.
Right.
So you're like Chris, actually, I'll name drop. Chris number 2 from Anti-Flag, he'll do that.
Okay.
So usually if you got hashtag Anti-Flag on anything, or at least, or maybe I'm not posting something horrible, but he'll like that post at some point.
That's good.
And it's like, cool, he's actually paying attention.
Yeah, every once in a while I'll do a search for, snail mate on, Instagram and stuff like that just to see, and then I will like it and follow back whoever I need to, and just that kind of custodial.
But yeah, not taking it personal. The other thing I've learned is stop comparing myself to people on Facebook.
That's very hard. It's very hard to do. But
stop comparing.
That's
in
good.
general, and that brings out more of a positive. Where I'm like, I'm still living like my best life ever. I don't know why I'm feeling down because I'm not at Disney World like them.
Exactly.
Or I'm not at let's go Star Wars Galaxy or Edge of the Galaxy. Like shit.
That's tough. As I see, touring bands will come through, and then the same local bands get picked to open up for them, or festivals will come through, and it's certain local bands get picked on it, and it's very hard to not be like, why aren't I on that? It's a bit, and it's I do it a lot, and so I've been trying to get better about that, and usually the best thing for me is to just ignore it altogether.
Yes. Well. Yeah. And that's the thing I also had to figure out is there's doing concert photography. It's a crowded pool.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, same with being in a band.
Which that has been something that I wish I could apply to the rest of my life. I've noticed in the last, or Pat probably, I had this conversation with Pat from Reads Unknown, maybe it's 5 months ago, but I started realizing I've started to let rejection of I didn't get a photo pass, just fall off me, whatever.
Good.
But I can't apply that to asking a girl out, or I can't. It's shit, what if she says no?
Right.
I'm still feeling horrible or worried about it.
Right.
But I've started to realize that. I've started to compare myself less to people on Facebook.
Good.
And I've changed, and hopefully this is helping. I know it's myself talking about myself, but I used to engage in more political discussions. And I realized reading them and watching it, all it did no matter if your purpose is to be like spreading more knowledge or telling people just look up this trusted source or just open up your view a little bit, that it always brings negativity.
It's depressing.
And so I've stopped engaging and really spreading political messages. I've decided to spread enthusiasm about things that I'm happy about and excited about.
I think
and
that's
hoping
smart.
that rubs off on people more. That I'm excited that I was playing Borderlands 3 yesterday. Spreading that kind of stuff.
Good.
I've decided that
That seems
spreading positivity is healthier than, even if I'm personally not ignoring some of the shit that's going on in the world, but engaging with it and bringing it out of people.
Yeah.
It's like the most negative thing, toxic thing I've noticed.
Right, and I mean,
And Facebook magnifies it.
yeah, and you having an opinion on it and voicing your opinion, it really does nothing to change the issue at hand, you know. And so it's just sometimes it's better to not be ignorant about it, but to just keep it keep to yourself and
Hands off. You can have your opinion. I have my opinion. I'm willing to mold my opinion if you give me a reasonable reason or source.
Most people aren't reasonable,
But
though. It's really,
that I've also learned. People just.
it's really hard to have a civil discussion about politics with someone who doesn't agree with you.
And I thought, since it's moved into Facebook, because it used to be ambiguity, you have your username, they can't tell who I am, that people were shitholes for that reason.
Yeah,
But instead, even with their real name on
Mhm.
Facebook, tied to their real Facebook,
yeah,
they are still talking shit.
yeah,
And holding. I'm like, this is just denigrating and dumb.
yeah. It'll never change.
This did kind of degrade off of, but yeah, I mean, it's the photography thing. It's kind of an up and down. I actually took a week off because it was a awesome 2 weeks of high, also being super fucking busy trying to get all of it done, but shooting Real Big Fish and Bowling for Soup and Teenage Bottle Rocket, and actually clowns are fucking awesome. Just a series of I got accepted to do all these, and it's shit, I need to do it around my day job, and then the high of mostly everyone that engaged with it giving me really positive, and I'm like, this is awesome. And the fall off, I'm like, yeah, not everything's gonna be like those 2 weeks.
I know. Yeah. When it rains, it pours, and it's great. But then once it slows down, you can't take that personally.
And I've got to realize that the down is not because I'm going and being sad. It's just because this was such a high that what's normal is not that level.
Totally.
Which
Yeah.
I'm sure goes with your touring and goes with
Post-tour depression is a very real thing.
where you're like, this was amazing, and now that's my.
Yeah.
This is what life normally is.
Yeah, now I'm back at work, which I'm very grateful to have a job that allows me to tour, but
Which is the other touring artist's dilemma.
Yeah.
Because that's why I keep using Suburban Legends, but they're the one that I personally had a conversation with about. They stopped doing tours because, and it's probably worse as a ska band than just two people, but Brian is half of our band. We'd go out for 3 weeks, come back, they need jobs, they need income.
Mhm.
The money we made on the tour does not supplant the bills and stuff they have to pay once they're home.
It's hard.
And that's the other thing about touring, is talking to a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, between feeding everyone and lodging everyone, Ariel and I are lucky. We're both very willing to sleep in the van, and so we're not spending money on hotels.
Yeah.
We're willing to eat cheap.
Also, a van with two people is probably a lot more spacious.
Yeah. And so I know just tour itself can be very financially straining for a lot of people.
I had another band from Vegas tell me, he's like, if I didn't have a wife, kids at home, and I could just tour, this would work perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But I do. So
you gotta feed 'em.
I gotta go home. I've got to remember I got a job to go do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough.
I say who is it? Some Kind of Nightmare. Molly and Shy. They're married too, but they make it work. But they live on the road pretty much all year.
Yeah.
Even though technically San Diego's their home, they're constantly just on the road,
Yeah.
and it's enough to make ends meet and feed. And
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the way to do it. And
you have to go very minimalist. Is what my lesson is from that.
100%.
Unfortunately, the music industry is broken.
Yeah, it's designed to break you down at every turn, and there's so many signs that really kind of tell you that this isn't what you should be doing, and you just gotta, if it's what you love, you gotta ignore it.
That band from Denver, or did I say they were from Denver? But the band I mentioned earlier, where they were talking about how they got on big bills at home because met people on tour because they were on the road so much, and the local bands were like, "Who the fuck are you? And why are you on this show and we're not?"
Right.
They've talked to me about how it can be brutal just even dealing with venues, promoters, just trying to get paid.
Yeah. Yeah, and everywhere's different, especially if it's somewhere that you haven't been very often. You know, like they treat you like you're an outsider, or and if you've never been to a place before and you don't have a huge following, you're not financially viable for a lot of venues, so you can't expect a whole lot. You know, the fact that they're giving you a place to play and sell your merch and hopefully a cut of the door and some drink tickets, like you gotta be grateful for it, because if you're not
And
a
strong,
famous band,
you gotta be strong.
Yeah.
We'll put up a little wall.
Yeah.
But he's also appreciative that they've done enough touring now that they go to, like you were describing, or Snowmate. They have bases now of people that they always see when they go to certain towns and cities, and they're like, it's so awesome now that they've built a community around the country. At the same time that they still occasionally have that shitty bar owner that they have to fight with for any money.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all up. It's all ups and downs, but I mean I wouldn't trade it for anything else.
And I've let some bands stay with me. I understand.
Yeah, we just had a band from Brazil play here on Thursday, and they stayed with us, and it was really great talking to them and getting their experiences, and I can't wait to go out to their country.
All the ties. Make sure. God, what's the right analogy? Like Tim Holhouse was telling me how he got screwed over. So he came through with an awesome friend of mine that I'm now spacing on his name. I can even see his face. But he originally had someone come over to the UK, and Tim was like, "Cool, I'll help you, and then you can help me when I go back."
Yeah.
And when it came back to, "All right, I'm going to the US. You guys ready?" What? No. Like they backed off. Bradley Palermo. They were just not the horrible group, but Bradley fucking did do that. He actually returned the gesture. That he went over there. Tim helped him, and he brought him with him around the US.
That's super important. We've learned to be pretty wary of a lot of bands in the United States, you know, who come through Arizona and they, you know, tell us that they're gonna help us out when we go through their town, and then when we need them,
they're not good.
It's crickets, and it's really unfortunate, and it's the exception, which is good, but it still happens.
Because most experience the same experience, so they know how shitty tour life is.
And
So any help is help.
It's so disappointing when you go out of your way to book a show for someone who you've never really met, and then when you need them, that they're not there. It's a bummer, because we're all in this together, whether it's in the music scene or just humans, you know.
That's part of the problem. It's the human problem. We're all different. We all have our different.
Oh yeah, and I get it. You know, sometimes my anxiety's way too high to talk, and I feel like
You should play Celeste.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
You
Feel
like
an
Super Meat
asshole.
Boy, right?
I never played Super Meat Boy. I wasn't.
Oh.
Yeah, but I know what you're talking about.
Sorry, I interrupted that.
But sometimes I'll be, you know, it'll be a certain show, and my anxiety will be so high that I'm not talking to a lot of people during the night, and then I feel like I'm being an asshole or like a pretentious band guy who wants to sit in the green room. But you know, it's a lot of times it's an anxiety thing, and I hate for that people would think that I'm like not a friendly person, because I really go out of my way to be 95%.
Keith Morris, in his own book, not saying you were an asshole, but he tells everyone, I think it's the last chapter, where he's like, everyone has a bad day. Don't hold it against them.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes musicians. They're humans too.
Yeah, it's true.
Just because one bad day gave a bad experience doesn't mean the dude's an asshole.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, being on the road is very stressful. Sometimes you don't eat or sleep as well as you might want to, and all those factors can contribute to
everything.
Yeah.
Oh, I know about that. I know about that because of my time at GameStop, which I don't know if I did divulge on this with another podcaster. Now I'm thinking about it, but yeah, I learned all about that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And sometimes, I don't want to like socialize because I'm self-conscious because I hadn't showered in a few days. You know, there's all sorts of things when being on the road. It's just like I'm just not in a good place to be like talking to a bunch of people, and it's unfortunate because I really enjoy talking to people.
So now you guys know, approach him if even if he seems off in the corner.
Yeah, approach me because I'm not the one doing the.
But you're even bartending now. That should help, right?
Yeah. if people come up and talk to me, I love talking and I'm very friendly. I just don't go out of my way to talk to new people because I'm scared.
I completely relate to that. So when I started doing this every show Joe thing, and it's still kind of underneath it, I was more just going out to relieve myself of stress, which was music. I didn't know anyone.
Right.
And it was people that came up to me going, I've seen you like 3 times in the last like month.
You're
What's
at
your
every
name?
show.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it was me more just putting myself out there to be like, no, this is for my stress relief, this is for, and it just happens to be music and people wanted to talk to me. And I still have some of it, and I've noticed it a little bit more. I've cut back on my drinking. More because I feel better, not for any other reason. I've been going to the gym more, that kind of stuff, and I just feel better, so I don't feel like I need alcohol. But
Right.
then I'm like, all right,
It
so
is a
now this is
social
different
lubricant. Yeah. Oh, I know.
without having that.
For the longest time, being out and being at shows, I was drinking a lot and doing drugs, and I was like, and now it's like, why do I have such a hard time talking to people? And I realize it's like,
It's definitely changed the way I put together my conversation and my sentences and my thoughts. I'm like, wait, no, I'm usually like a little more relaxed. Okay.
No doubt.
But I completely understand. I still have that. Like last night-ish, I knew like 5 people. And then I'm like, I'm just going to... And I'm getting bored looking at my phone. I don't know what that means.
Right.
But I'm like, I don't really want to look at my phone. I'm like, well, what am I going to do? I'm not drinking.
Yeah, it's tough. We're all navigating these
And I'm not going to talk that dude's ear off just because I know Pedro.
Yeah.
Who was drinking, so he probably would have not cared.
Right.
But yeah, I completely relate to I still have the social anxiety, which surprises people. They're like, you're everywhere. I'm like, that does not mean I got rid of some of my neuroses.
No. And I feel like it just gets worse as I get older. But
I just kind of work with it.
yeah, that's all you can do, right?
That's my approach to it, and just hope for the best. Then still subscribe, just don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Worst case, I'll just be over here. You want to talk? I'll still talk. I'll be receptive to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, like you were saying.
Yeah.
It's more, I'm just like, I don't know what to talk about. I'm just going to hang out here.
Right. That's why
Until the next band.
That's why I don't approach people. But I'm more than happy to talk to someone who wants to talk.
So,
yeah.
Yes. So approach Brandon. Or, God, I did that again.
Kalen.
I'm horrible with names, is what we're learning. Right, Ramon? Actually, they have a Caleb here that I kept calling Kalen.
Oh, nice.
So it's even funnier that I'm now mispronouncing or forgetting your name occasionally.
That is funny. It happens.
We got to figure out if there's a dust storm warning anyways, and I think, God, we're probably an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So on that fun, serious note, that you should always approach us and talk to us.
Damn right.
And plus, go listen to Snailmate. Speaking of, where can they find you live coming up?
Live, we are playing this Wednesday at the Hyperion Tavern in Los Angeles.
So if you're listening to us before, God, what does it say? It's the 14th of September.
Yeah. So September 18th, we're at the Hyperion Tavern in LA. And then we've got some other things happening. I don't remember what, but October 17th, we're at the Rhythm Room.
And
with the Devils in Libido from Japan. And then we're going on tour with them. All our tour dates can be found on our Spotify or our Facebook or our website, snailmate.com. It's snailmate, one word. And then we'll be at the Yucca Tap Room on October 27th at the tail end of that tour.
let's go check out their awesome music video, which I didn't even touch on that.
Yeah.
You started doing more with video work
Yeah,
with the
I'm
last music video.
Trying to do some video.
Was it
I got a green screen. It's the laziest man in the world. You can find it on our Facebook or YouTube. So.
Were you physically spinning for that, or did you spin the camera?
It's edited it in post.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a video trickery for sure.
I was like, did they just set up a chair and sit on the floor and just rotate?
No, we weren't that inventive. It was like, all right, figure out how to do it in the editor.
But that's awesome too.
Thank you.
We all have things we want to do. I still want to make an indie game.
Yeah.
My day job's a programmer.
The
I should
list
be able to
goes
do this.
on. Yeah.
Just need the time, as always.
No kidding.
And yeah, let's see. For me, of course, thank you, SCR, for hosting. Awesome to have a home. That's not my apartment for this. And people like Ramon, that can do
Yeah.
better sound and do stuff for me that I don't have to actually be at the board anymore. The old episodes were my wireless keyboard.
Oh, yeah.
On the side of a couch.
There's a lot to plug in for sure.
Also, of course, if you want to support, a couple of things you can do. Subscribe if you're watching live on Twitch, or if you're watching on YouTube, or the podcast services, which now I'm on Spotify, so I know what fractions of a penny are.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm not a record company, so I'm just getting fractions of a penny, I guess. But yeah, so you can also listen to the audio version on podcast services. It's on 9 of them. It's anchor.fm/everyshow. You can see all the locations. But yeah, I'm so happy that now I'm on Spotify for the hell of it.
Woo.
At least more people can hear it. Support money-wise, patreon.com/everyshowjoe. Even $1, that goes far. That helps. Anything helps, really. Even for equipment, like that PS2, I need to get a working PS2. I have like a collection of like 90 games that are now like sitting in limbo because I can't play them on the stream right now.
Oh,
Let's see. I think that's everything. Next week I'm taking off because there's an awesome event that you should all attend if you are in Phoenix called the Indy 500 at the Trunk Space.
That's where we're playing. We're playing
There
that
you
too.
go.
I forgot.
It starts at 4 o'clock on Friday, and they play 5 songs per artist, musician, till they hit 500. It's fucking rad.
I think we
It goes
play
through the night.
at 5 o'clock on Saturday.
PM or AM?
PM.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Speaking of playing through the night, it could be either.
Yeah.
So
Pretty sure.
it's one of my favorite events in Phoenix. So I'm taking next Saturday off to be able to attend when I can.
We'll see you there.
Yes. Actually, if you're playing flag, you should.
Yeah.
And then I'll go to whatever I was planning to go to that Saturday. I don't even remember. I'll think about it when I get there. But the following week, we got Broloaf. So the East Coast hardcore bro well, I don't know if I'd say parody. Satirical band. They will be here. One of my favorite locals. I don't even know we're playing on that yet either. We gotta make sure the PS3 works. But yeah, I think that's all my housekeeping. I always forget something. Oh, keep up with me on social media. Every Show Joe, as everything: Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter. I even have a TikTok that I don't use, but I registered it, so I have Every Show Joe on it.
Smart.
And everyshowjoe.com. You check updates on there too, plus when these go live. And now I think that's all of it. So until 2 weeks from now, you guys take care. Have fun.
Be nice to everybody.
And thank you.
Be kind.